So about a week ago, I wrote this post about how my life has changed essentially over the last 4 years, and what software development has done for me. And I was really getting in the feels because I had just put in an offer on my first house, and 4 years ago I sleep on a couch or sleep on the floor. So when I wrote this post in the Facebook group Code Tech and Caffeine, which if you guys aren't a member, it's about we have about 7,000 members. There's a link in the description, and I encourage you to go and seek other people who are learning and whatnot. But our guest today, Joshua, Josh, he shared his story of how he went from not writing a line of code to 3 months later creating an internship to 3 months after that getting a full-time salaried role, and how it has transformed his career. So we're going to be talking today with Josh about what it took for him and what he did to create his own internship, because they didn't have an internship program, and then turn that into a full-time salaried role and got up and running from 0 to about 6-7 months, which is really impressive. Might I thank our sponsor for this video, Dev Mountain Coding Bootcamp. If you're interested in iOS development, Salesforce, full stack, web development, Q&A, UI, UX, Dev Mountain's got it all. You can get housing with your tuition, so you can get up and go today. And they have other programs such as online and after school, so that you're have a schedule that works for you that you can be successful with. Check them out for more information at devmountain.com. All right. Today we're talking with Joshua Ruff, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, and we're going to talk about converting an internship into a full-time position. A lot of times internships can be one of those things that can be very good for your resume, and you use to go get a job. But why not convert that internship into a full-time position and skip over that step? So, Josh, would you mind introducing yourself to everybody?
Yeah, Josh Ruff. Software developer out of Kansas City, Missouri, right now. Been getting into development. I actually just started. I wrote my first lines of code this last February, 2018. Lost a job position as a social media marketer. Just that company kind of lost funding. So I was kind of like, okay, what do I want to do? I wasn't content with where I was going in that career path. And so I took a week, analyzed a lot of things, analyzed interest, and decided to pursue software development, and started that journey this last February.
Nice. So you said February, so it's been about 7 months or so, which is, by most people's standards, pretty quick to go and start learning something, get an internship, and then get a first job. What was that experience like, with it being so fresh, of writing the very first few lines of code in February?
It was an experience, lots and lots of hours. I'm married, and my wife was very gracious to kind of put aside the need of saying, hey, we'll just be really tight. And she works in childcare, and so we kind of it was tight and a lot of work, and I had that pressure of kind of, okay, I'm married, I need to provide for my wife and for myself, and how can I, what's the fastest route, but also what is the route that will bring the most quality. And so it was just hustling every day. You talk about that a lot in your videos, just the daily grind and not giving up, but also having that pressure to reason why I was doing it. I
Nice.
didn't have a big window of time, so I knew I couldn't goof around.
You got to jump right in. So when did you start applying for internships?
I started applying, so I jumped into some online courses with Free Code Camp. When I was getting towards the end of the front-end degree and had a few projects under my belt, had a little portfolio put together. I'd the basic, I think I had 3 projects left for that first initial front-end certificate. And so decided to just start applying at that point. So it was the beginning of May 2018. So just a few months after I started.
Nice. And so 3 months later or so, you start writing in February, start looking for internships about 3 months later. Was it a quick turnaround? How long were you looking before you got into that first internship?
I started looking straight for jobs, so I didn't go the internship route, and I put out about 15 to 20 applications, or a resume out to 15, 20 positions. And where I got the internship was actually a company said, hey, I got an interview with a very small business, and it was for a senior development position is what they called it, but it was just very simple, like front end PSD documents to CSS templating type thing. And so it was the only developer position there. So they use an outside agency to train their dev. And so it was through hearing about that I was kind of, oh, what's this nice agency? And then so it was within a month or two, I'd say 6 weeks of applying and kind of finding this company I'm at now.
Nice. That's a remarkable turnover. What would be some keys that you think were very successful for you? Because by most people's standards, that is a extremely fast, like just about as fast as you can get, in my opinion, turnover from never wrote any code to I'm getting paid and learning professionally.
Yeah. You recommended a book in, I don't know if it was like March or something, or if it might have been an older video when I was going through free code camp stuff. You recommended the book. I wrote it here. The Complete Software Developer's Career Guide by John Sunmez.
Mm-hmm.
And when you recommended it, I got the book, and he has a very aggressive approach where he's just, kept saying the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Just write and like make them notice you through talking to them. So the biggest thing for me was I followed his words exactly. I mean, verbatim of what he said in the book. Talk to people. And what really kind of got me into the internship was he had a chapter talking about job shadowing. So I initially reached out to this company saying, hey, do you have any job shadowing positions? And just tried to get my foot in the door, networking with people in the company. And so that's the biggest thing I can recommend for people who are trying to find an internship, trying to find an in at a company. Just ask about job shadowing, ask about anything where you can just, hey, I want to learn more about your company. And a lot of times they'll have reps or something that will reach out and say, okay, yeah, sure. We don't know why you want to know about it, but here you go.
Nice.
So,
I being aggressive in your job search, and that's sort of how I would describe it, is a good thing. And like, showing that active interest of how to, like, look, man, I'm here. All you gotta do is call me. I'm ready. Because a lot of people, it's very hard to get your foot in the door, and so you have to sometimes just sort of kick your foot into the door.
yes, exactly.
That works out very well. So you get this internship, and I maybe not exactly what you wanted, because you at first you were saying, you're applying for jobs, and it kind of fell out to that. What was that like? Was it sort of a humbling experience? Was it sort of a learning experience? Because it wasn't exactly what you were looking for.
Right. It was a bit of both. More humbling than learning at first, but a huge learning experience. So initially, they kind of like it happened really quick, where I came in to talk about job shadowing. They said, hey, we don't do that, but have you considered an internship? And we didn't really discuss finances about the internship. So they're like, hey, after we got all past the formalities, we got into it. I had my first day, and at the end of the first day, I was doing all my HR paperwork for an intern stuff, and the packet, it said unpaid internship. And so I was like, can I talk to someone about this? So I actually had a negotiation right in the beginning where I said, listen, I'm happy to do this unpaid, but if there's any way to get some type of pay just so I can pay the bills and focus on that. So ended up being a paid internship, which was cool. And it allowed me to focus a lot on learning. And the team at this particular company, I first fell in love with their company culture, because they were teachers more than they were devs. So there are some amazing senior devs on the team, but they all kind of have this quality of being great teachers. So it was a huge learning experience getting into the internship right off the bat. Jumping into React. I mean, the first I had to build an Amazon Fire Stick app for one of their clients as kind of a surprise to the client in case it went really bad. So
Yeah.
So
That's so I mean the general theme that I'm seeing here thus far with sort of your success is sort of putting yourself out there and being willing to just be honest, like, hey, I'm willing to learn. And then, opportunity comes along and say, look, I'll do this, but can you, from a sort of a man to man or person to person level is like, I'm going to put the hours in. Can we get something here?
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm not asking you to pay me $100K for this internship or anything, but enough so that I could put some gas in the car and get some groceries and just go home to the wife and say I'm making a little bit of money, which is
make her happy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, being willing to do it for no pay, because I knew that type of experience doesn't come easy. And I kind of got my foot in the door and, tried to wiggle it a little bit deeper there, and it happened to work. But even for people who try that at home, I would say, or try that for themselves, even if you can push through with no finance for that experience is crucial, especially in the internship. It gives you a chance to show your work ethic, your personality. They can get to know you, and that'll make it easier to turn that into a job that does pay. So be willing to risk it all, and be willing to work for nothing really was what John was saying in his book. He said, sometimes like you have to tell companies like, hey, like just let me work for free. I want the experience type thing. And, I was willing to do that. Luckily I didn't have to, but it works when you're aggressive, but not weird aggressive. Yeah. So know when to not push anymore. But yeah,
I mean, you can always float ideas out there, and sometimes they're like, you know what, I understand, and sometimes they're like, sorry. This is how it goes. So, so you get the internship, and it comes out to be paid, and I'm sure that was like a great victory.
Yes.
Was there a like, okay, this is going to be for 6 weeks, this is going to be for 3 months? Was there any sort of talk about what direction this was going, or like how long it was going to be, or what the game plan was?
Yeah, so initially it was it's 3 months is what they said. They said they didn't really have a position at the end of it, but they'll see kind of the results of everything if like they're able to make room or whatever. So it was just 3 months with no promise of work afterwards.
Nice. And so you do the 3 months, and I'm sure you're studying there, you're studying outside of work, because I mean, at this point, at the start of your internship, you're what, 3-4 months in, so you're just everything's new. And so what were some of because obviously you impressed them enough that they wanted to hire you at the end. What was sort of your studying like? What was the game plan for those 3 months, and how did you execute it?
I didn't have free time anymore, which I was fine with. So they built learning into their internship schedule, which was cool. Got a company Pluralsight account, which was awesome. So I abused the crap out of that Pluralsight account. I mean, courses that were unrelated to what I was learning already at work, or just to broaden my view of things, because I only knew front end certificate level, and at that time Free Code Camp didn't even have a lot of the latest JavaScript, so ECMA 2016. So I wasn't even using the latest anything, and so I was abusing that, learning everything I could, asking questions where I could, trying to find what was relevant to the company, what was going to be their needs coming up, what are their clients like. So really learning the company, learning kind of their clients, what would best benefit that to better increase my chance of getting a job at the end of it. So I was weekends, 10 to 12 hours a day. After work, I'd go in early, come home late, and then when I got home, eat something quick and keep studying until I went to bed. So it was like that all summer.
That's excellent, and that's sort of what I tell people is that when companies are looking to hire junior developers, it's that passion and that work ethic where they're like, look, this guy in 3 months is going to be a different quality of dev than he was 3 months later. So, you're putting in this work, and you're coming up towards the end of the internship. What happens there? Do they come to you? Do you sort of go to your boss, say, look, I know we're coming up on this 3 month mark, just trying to get a feel where I'm standing. How did that all play out?
Uh, so for me, I guess going in, two things were really important to me to show them was my work ethic, uh, that I was willing to learn whatever they threw at me, and that I was willing to not just get it done, but to get it done in a way that was, wow, this is not just some front end piece of. So I was working on the Fire Stick app, I guess, and so I could have done it a lot simpler. Amazon has like a template that allows you to get it done really fast and get it up, but kind of through their instruction in that, I wanted to make it better, more black box, so they could use it for any other client. So I was able to, instead of just write it for one client, I made it in a way where they could skin it for different clients. So I actually ended up just building them a product that they could reuse. So work ethic, showing everything I could do there, but also focused a lot on the company culture, connecting with the other devs, making it feel like I was a part of the team as best I could. So developing friendships in the company, going to lunch with the other devs on the team. And a lot of them actually went to the leaders and said, we really like this guy. You know, he's good. He's fitting in well with us. He clicks with us. He does good work, but he's kind of has that balanced professionalism where he works hard, but also he's not afraid to be friends and be a part of the company already, kind of even as an intern doing that. So they came to me 2/3 through the internship. So my second month, they did a review, and they said they really liked where it was going, that there's something opening up. And so they had me, so I finished my project in a month and a half, and then reskinned it for a second client in the second half of that second month. And then the third month kind of came around, and they said, hey, let's put you on a real project. And so even in the internship, my focus was to not be an intern, I guess, to at a level that I saw the other devs working at, but then push it even farther. So they came to me there.
Very nice. So now, how long have you been officially working for them at this point? So
The 25th of August or something like that. So just a few weeks now.
Yeah. I guess it's kind of crazy because like it's only been 7 months in total since like this whole journey, and a lot of hard work, a lot of honesty and speaking up, and being aggressive about what it is you're trying to accomplish has sort of been the theme. So now that you've got the dev job, and you have 2 feet in the door, you're in the door, past the door at this point. I'm sure you're continuing to study and continuing to learn.
Yeah.
So what is the game plan moving forward? Just keep getting better, or
yeah, so I've been primarily front end, and a lot of their devs are full stack JavaScript. So I'm actually pushing myself. We have some new projects coming that are going to be using GraphQL and with React, and we have one project that I'm on that's kind of doing that a little bit with some outside contractors. So I'm trying to prepare myself to be the guy that says, oh, we're going to be going into that. I already have experience with that. Let me jump on that project if I can, or kind of being the one that I guess keeping my eyes moving forward and watching where the company's heading, watching like I really keep an open ear when I hear our project managers talking about upcoming projects and what the clients are wanting. And I try to learn as much as possible, been going to meetups and stuff. So just continuing learning every single day as much as I can. Kind of my goal is to learn something new every day, even if it's the same topic, but just going deeper and deeper into different technologies. So I don't know if that answers your question, but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
just really
I'm just
pushing
making
forward.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
I wasn't too worried about it, but I always try to make that point because it's so common for people to they get that first job and then they
Yeah.
stop and they stop progressing. And it's like the early success you get in your development career is amazing, but it gets even better if you just keep going, right?
Right.
So,
Yeah, the comfort zone's a real thing. It's kind of like you get that moment where first discussing pay and discussing things, and I'm, like, oh, that sounds good. That sounds good. And you kind of feel that like comfort zone creep up a little bit, and you really have to shun it, because it would be easy to just kind of say like, okay, good, that was a good run. Hard 7 months, like let me just relax a little bit. But for me, it was important to not get passive about that. And some days, I have to remind myself daily, really, when I feel myself kind of get passive, to keep pushing on, because my goal is to grow with the company as much as I can. And the cool thing about where I'm at is they allow a lot of growth, and they really encourage growth. They don't practice the traditional job titles or job roles where they restrict you. So they're really I really like the culture, I guess, where I'm at. So they allow you to grow in a way that allows you to, okay, yeah, I kind of want to learn more back end, that type of stuff, where I can say, oh, I really like GraphQL. Like, is there a way we can do this? And they'll have you study it for a while before they put you on a project with it. But it's been good. And so my goal is to grow as much as I can with them.
any final tips for people who are trying to convert an internship into a full-time role?
Be balanced. There's a certain level of professionalism that's good, but there's some, like, I've seen other interns, like, every day they're so focused on being perfect that they forget to like mingle and become a part of the company. And so that, for me, I think that's really what helped is, yes, have that awesome work ethic, make them but make them feel that hole if you're not there. Become a part where a lot of people say like, was he even an intern? Like we've had lunch with him, we've hung out with him. So I guess really connect to the culture of the company, because that's just as important for a lot of companies as, oh, this guy can code and do well there. But I feel like a lot of people forget to connect with the company as its unique self, with their vision, with their ideals, with kind of their flow of things, and kind of do that, but also call them higher a little bit too with the way you work.
Excellent. Well, I appreciate you sharing that with us, and all you've accomplished in 7 short months, and just what hard work. And
I've got a good role model here.
Yeah,
you've been an awesome inspiration. I gotta say, really, it's an honor to even sit here and talk with you, because it was kind of unreachable for me. But looking at what you've done in 2 years, and even seeing that post that I initially commented on about you listing off, this many days since this, and looking back, it's really crazy to see where you can go, and it's an inspiration to people who are just starting. I mean, I'm just a beginner, but plowing away, and I'd encourage everyone, you can do so much if you put your mind to it every day and push through.
All right, well, thank you so much, and I appreciate this, and we'll have to do it again sometime, because I have no doubt a year from now you're just going to be doing phenomenal and even better, and it'll be great to see that growth.
Yeah, same watching you, man. It's been awesome.
Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to check out my 100 Algorithm Challenge course. Get you prepped for those technical interviews to make sure you get nice offers. I actually just added some new content to it, so you can get prepared for those technical phone screens as well. There's a link in the description to get it for just $9.99.